who's not only like-minded, but who's really helping our youth. To be honest, and I'm not going to get into this, D'Angelo and Mark and Chris and Lamar and all these guys, their music is terrible. Okay, like it is horrible. Like, so I'm thinking like, who can I find that they listen to that I can bring to Asheville? And I started listening to some of this music. He's not coming. He's definitely not coming. I don't even want to talk to him. Like it's horrible. Like now, and so what I did, this was actually about 2 years ago. I was happening to be on YouTube, and I saw my son on Funk Flex, and I heard his rap. And when I heard it, I said, man, that dude, not only do he got a mean flow, but he talking about some conscious stuff. So I started following him. I started seeing him popping up over here. Then he was, then he was doing that. Then he was out in California at Nipsey Hussle's thing. And then he just did a thing this past, about 2 weekends ago in New Jersey, Kings Stop Killing Kings. And so as I started following this young man, he was literally doing more activist stuff and doing community nationwide, and it's like, okay, this is a person who can not only come and articulate and talk to our kids, but somebody that they can respect and know. So I am glad and elated that my brother, my son, is here to talk to you guys. Please give him a warm welcome to Nashville.
The streets told me high price lies and I brought them. My grandpa tried to give me the truth, but I ignored him. I saw the dudes on the corners with big chains and Jordans moving cane and thought the things they were saying was more important. All the fame and chicks calling my name, I wanted to be a gangster. The working dudes was lame, but when I got in the game, I realized the real guys are the ones who struggle, but they still rise. It don't make you real because you deal pies. It ain't what you wear, you see real lies in your soul. It's the ones who never fold. I got dudes doing hundreds of years and never told. It's my grandfather. He showed me a man's gotta command respect, live life with honor. See, in life is common. These dudes like piranhas. They going to war with 4 or 5 llamas. Y'all dying for commas. I'ma die for honor. I'ma change the world before I die. Promise my mama before the day I'm deceased that I'ma teach my brothers to elevate from the streets. I sat down with a priest and I told him, you see, religion was one of the biggest causes of our division. Just because one called him Allah and the other called him Jesus, I just call him God when I get down on my knees. Knees is God is surrounded by violence. See, ignorance gets compounded by silence. So I know better. I know I can't be selling my soul for no cheddar, so I won't let a fake rapper go and try to tell a little kid to be some dope seller. No, I never on my watch. I'ma tell the kids to do better on my block, because I'm not moved by material. That don't impress me. I'd rather respect, I guess it's just me. I just be in a whole different zone. As a kid, I did things like a kid, but now I'm grown. So I don't condone no senseless crimes. I understand desperate measures in desperate times. Just understand that these people will infest your mind and lead you to death just to shine. So in the era where they rather pull triggers and sell dope, I figure why not be the real brother who sell hope? Thank you. How you doing today? I'm gonna lock this room up a little bit. People get head on the table. Now listen, I have a request. I know this is gonna cause a little something, but I came here to speak to the kids. So I need the kids to be up here. This is my nigga told me that, right? Like, I need them to be up here. All my young kings and queens to be in the front. But this conference is about them. There you go. If you can't see it, you can't be it. Get you a chair, find you a chair. Find you some chairs that can sit down however you want to do it. Floor, chair, bring it up, fill the aisles up. Yeah, there we go. Sit here, we go. Yeah, that's right. There we go. This is what it's about, right? We're here for these young kings and queens, right? So, first I want to say thank you for Keenan. Thank you for having me here. I appreciate y'all having me here. Y'all treated me like family so far. This is an amazing conference. This is an amazing initiative. These are amazing people. Him and his beautiful wife, they have toured me, fed me. We had a beautiful time, and I think I'm gracious that you have me here. Thank you. Secondly, I would like to say that there are not enough men in this room. That's a problem to me. That is a real problem. You would never go to a women's conference and there be more men. Never. So that's an issue for me. And I say to myself, what do we have to do to make sure that we get men in the room? Third of all, there's definitely not enough black men in this room. And I appreciate the women because the women are the back, they're pretty much leading the society right now. Y'all gotta give yourself a round of applause. Women are definitely leading our culture, leading our society right now, but as black men, we are failing. If we are not motivating, educating, empowering, inspiring, and cultivating our youth, then we are failing. The fact that we don't see the value in being in rooms like this shows that we are failing. The fact that you ain't called 5 or 6 of your brothers and said, yo, we have to be at this conference to support what this man is doing means that we are failing these kids. If they cannot see you in them, then they cannot be that. If they are in rooms with people talking about them and not to them, then they cannot be successful. To give you a little bit of my background, I grew up in the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx, New York. At the age of 12, my father died of an overdose. My mother was a crackhead. I pretty much raised myself, and the only vision of success that I had was the drug dealer. The only person that I seen that had the things that I wanted was the drug dealer on the corner. He had the girls I liked, he had the cars I wanted, he had the fame, the notoriety. There was no vision other than the drug dealer of something that I visualized as success. So how would someone expect me to aspire to be anything other than that? You see, the problem for me is when you have someone like Keenan who's doing the work, and like he said, you're not that dude. Because society has not made what he does sexy. We have not empowered him. The fact that he is not funded, the fact that he doesn't live like a king in his community is the problem. When these kids look at people who doing positive work and they don't see them just as famous and being uplifted as the rapper who's telling them to kill somebody, how do you expect them to aspire to do that? Why aren't we saying that this organization needs to be funded? That people like Keenan need to be funded. They need to be uplifted. Why aren't we empowering our communities like that? Why aren't we donating? Why are we not taking, every time we do this, there should be a donation to make sure that this organization continues to run and people feel like they want to follow in those footsteps. Because I know all too well that if we do not empower those, if we do not make these people look as if it is valuable, that is success, then how do we expect our kids to go along that path? They want to do what the rappers is doing. They want to do what the drug dealers are doing because we empower them, we respect them. So why don't we show people who do this type of work the same respect? Why don't we make sure that they are valued, that they are uplifted, that they got nice cars and nice homes so these kids can look and say, I want to aspire to be that. Because I'm telling you the truth. Nobody wants to aspire to be something that's not uplifting. You know, just like education, in these schools that we go to, let's uplift the kids. We got to speak energy into these kids. We got to speak success. Like she said, we are settling for mediocrity. We are not normalizing greatness. We should start normalizing greatness. Every day these kids should be told that they're great. They should be motivated to do more. They should feel like there's going to be something that they're given when they do more. They need to be rewarded. we can't keep asking people to volunteer their work. People can't keep being volunteers. It's a shame. Listen, I drove through the community with him, and I see how the love, and I realize the love that he has for this community. That he really puts his energy in it. When he's explaining to me that he's barely funded, it's a disappointment to me. Like, it is a disappointment when an organization like this is not really celebrated and uplifted. When you can bring these kids, I drove through and some of them I seen on the corners, and without him, these kids would be on those corners every day, losing their lives. He's giving these kids opportunities to see something different. So why are we not uplifting them? Why don't we value this enough? You know, coming from the Bronx and seeing people die daily because they're not told or not given another opportunity. We have the opportunity to give these kids an opportunity, and we're not really taking it. We're not valuing these children enough. You know, I listened to this is a beautiful conference, and everybody has ideas about the children. Are we asking the children what they want? Are we asking the children? In schools, are you asking these kids questions? Are you trying to find out what they're going through? You know, poverty breeds violence. And as I drove through the city, I realized there's a lot of poverty here. So we have to do something to offset that poverty. You know, if you just go into the school and you just a teacher, or you just waiting for these kids to walk into these rooms and you're failing these kids. You gotta go to these blocks. You gotta go to these communities. These kids have to see you. They have to feel that you care. You can't just come to the conference once a year and say that I did my job. You can't come and sit in the room and say, well, I was at a conference, I did my job. Like, if you are an educator, if you are somebody who is in close proximity to children, and you are not uplifting, motivating, donating, doing something to ensure that they have a better life than actually that you have, then you are failing these kids. You know, I take it very personal because I understand being an at-risk youth. You know, at the age of 20, I went to prison for a crime I didn't commit. I spent 7 years in prison, you know, for being around the wrong people in my community. And while I was in prison, I kept realizing that the prison was filled with people that looked like me. Every day it was a revolving door, another 18, 19-year-old, and some of these kids are coming to prison with 20 and 30 years because they was taught wrong. They was lied to. And if we are allowing them to be lied to, if we continue to allow them to be lied to, if we do not glorify positivity, if we do not uplift people like Keenan, if we do not uplift people in our communities, if we're not going to these communities and building with these kids, then we are failing these kids. You know, I know it's going to be a lot of speakers here. Everybody said a lot of things, but I just think that there's not enough focus talking to these kids about what's really going on with these kids. And I know that people care, but we got to be very conscious. If we are not probing, if we are not intentional, if you are a black man in this community and you are not mentoring 2 or 3 of these kids, then you are failing. You are really failing these kids. Our kids need us. They need to be empowered. I sit down and I have an organization called Raising Kings, and that's the main thing that we do. We uplift these kids. We talk to them. We have affirmations. My son is 7 years old, and every day he wakes up and we go to school, and the first thing he says is, Daddy, I'm a king and I'm chasing greatness. And he's been saying that since he was 4. If we are not reaffirming their greatness, then what else do we think we're doing? We're not telling them they're great, we're not showing them they're great. Then what else do you think that you're doing? These kids really, really need us. They really, really need us. And I think that this is a beautiful conference. Once again, I want to say it's a beautiful conference, but I'm just really disappointed that the people who need to be here aren't in this room. And when you leave this room, I think every black man that you know in this community that wasn't here, you need to have a conversation with. Like really have a conversation with them and understand that our kids are dying at a rapid pace. We are losing our kids to the prisons and to the morgues every day at a rapid pace. So why isn't this a priority? A conference like this, my daddy taught me that, and nobody's daddy is in the room. Your daddy should be in this room. These are our kids. These are my kids. They're not just my kids that I birthed, that my wife birthed is not just my kids. These are our kids, and if we don't see it that way, then we're going to continue to lose them. We have to engage these kids. We got to empower these young men and women. You know, we have to take this very personally. So I'm going to give you a little background about me. I'm a hip-hop artist and a civil rights activist and a community activist from the Bronx. Like I said, I did 7 to 14 years in prison for a crime I didn't commit. And while I was in prison, I constantly seen people that looked like me going in and out these prisons. And I was about to sign a record deal. I was signed to Def Jam Records in 1999. I was on Mace's album, DMX's album. I had credits on a lot of Clue mixtapes. I was on Rough Riders album, Volume 1, Volume 2. And when I was locked up, I was almost at the peak of my career. And I was very angry. Very angry, because I didn't understand why I was locked up. Because I was locked up for a crime I didn't commit. But when I got there, I realized that it was a purpose for me to be there. As I sat in that prison, and I thought to myself, I realized that the message in my music was wrong. I realized the message that I was giving these kids was wrong. But it was the message that I was taught, because somebody had taught me wrong. And that's what's going on in the community. So when he says the music that these kids like he can't bring, is because those people who's telling their story have been taught wrong. So they continue to miseducate. They continue to put our kids in positions to where they're going to lose. So when I sat in that cell, I said to myself, what are you going to do different when you get out of here? How are you going to help to make assured that nobody else that looks like you, or a lot less, come into these cells? And I said to myself, I can't go home preaching, because they don't want to hear that. Because I didn't want to hear it. When I was 16, if you was trying to preach to me and just go to school, and just be good and get your grade, no, I didn't want to hear that. So I had to make it look sexy. The words had to translate to the kids to where they got it. So that's when I started formatting my message and saying, okay, this is what the culture's revolving around. How do I make this message just as cool as somebody who's telling them to go rob, steal, and kill? And that was my mission. When I came home, after serving 7 years, I came home and I started to formulate that plan. And I started to shift my message slowly. Not too much, because you can lose them. Because they come back and say, oh yeah, he on his positivity. We don't want to hear his conscience. You know, so like my boy T.I. said, you gotta put a little candy in the medicine. So slowly but surely I started to put the candy in the medicine and change the message. And not change the essence of what it was, not change the culture, not change the reality of what the streets is, but really give you the reality of what the streets is. And that's what I'm here to tell you. There's a reality that goes on these streets that the musicians and the music you listen to is not telling you the truth. God is not blessing the trappers. He's not. The trappers is going to jail because the raps is telling them. They doing hundreds of years. You're going to be in the streets, you're going to hustle for 2 years, you're going to get a little money, you're going to do 50 years in prison. That's the fact. That's the reality of it. You're going to be cool, somebody will tell you the name, you got a gun, you walk around, they're going to grab you up, and you're going to sit in jail, and there's nothing in jail. It ain't no stripes for being in jail. You feel like a fool when you sit in prison. There's nothing in prison. There's no, when you think, because a lot of them, how many of y'all was told that you wasn't real if you didn't go to jail? Raise your hand. That's what they told me. You wasn't real like you. How many people you see come home and glorify jail? Raise your hand if you seen somebody come home glorifying jail. Well, yeah, it's from a different hood. Because in my hood, when you went to jail and you came home, they treated you like you was God. You know, they was coming outside like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was holding it down. Shorty was on a visit all the time. I was holding down the yard. I had the phone all day. Y'all ain't hear them stories? None of y'all heard them stories? You heard them stories? No? Well, listen, I'm glad. That's good, but that's what's going on. So I felt like, well, I need to go to jail to be real, quote unquote real, to be respected in my community. That was the dumbest thing that I ever, when I got in prison, I realized that was the dumbest story I ever heard. Dumbest story I ever heard. So we have normalized abnormality. We glorify the most negative and stupid things because that's what we've been taught. We've been taught that the more violent you are and the more negative things you are, the more respect you get. And that's the dumbest thing in the world. And that's why I say that we have to glorify and uplift programs like this. So these kids understand that when you do the right thing, that people give you the same level of respect or more respect than they give you for negativity. We have to uplift it. We have to instill that. That is what the males in our community have to instill. When you see these kids doing something, do not sit back and say, they don't listen. They have to listen. If these kids do suffer more than you did or as much as you did, then you failed as a man. If you're watching these young kings and queens go through what you went through and you're not uplifting them or giving them a better pathway, then you are failing. You are failing as an adult. As adults, our jobs is to assure that the kids that come behind us have a better pathway and an easier pathway to success than we have. That is our job. So when I look at these young kings, and I was driving through the hood yesterday, I knew what they was doing. Because we did it. We was on the corners and I was looking and I was like, if nobody saved these kids, if nobody comes and tells them the truth about what's going on in these streets, then we're going to lose these babies. If nobody comes to them, if nobody takes the initiative, because everybody in here, you're going to go home, everything's going to be good, but these kids are losing. We're losing these babies. Y'all know where they at. Y'all know where these projects and these housing units have. Go there. If you really care, go to these kids, go to their community and pick 2 or 3 of them and make it your duty to ensure that they are successful. That's what I'm charging you to do. If you're in this room today, I'm charging you to go to these communities, go where these kids are and show them their greatness. Tell them the mistakes you make. Identify with them. Don't talk at them. Talk to them. Build with them. Have conversations with them. Understand what they're feeling. We live in a society where these kids are so fascinated with suicide. Do you realize there has to be a lot of pain and trauma? They're over-medicating themselves with pills and they're fascinated with suicide. Every song of the favorite rappers is talking about them killing themselves. Something's going wrong. Something we're not identifying. We're missing a lot. We need to be having conversations with these kids, man. We need to be building with these kids. We need to be trying to figure out what is hurting you so much that you don't want to be here. What is bothering you so much that you want to you want to take your own life? Why are you overdosing on these pills? Why are you over-medicating on these pills? Like, what is going on? Like, this is simple. Like, we are really in dire times. I do a lot of mentoring. I talk to educators. I talk to principals. I talk to teachers. And the main question they ask me all the time is, why aren't we able to keep young black males in school? Genius. Why are men like Jay-Z and 50 Cent and all of these people who have amassed levels of success that's without school, why aren't we able to capitalize and captivate that genius in school? And it's because the school doesn't care enough about the black man. It's a fact. Because you can't teach somebody how you want them to learn. You got to teach them how they're comfortable learning. So when we look at our school system and realize that we've been doing the same thing, expecting a different result, it's called insanity. It is called insanity. We are not captivated by you telling me to sit in this chair and do this work and look at this board. It's not captivating us. I never gravitated to that. I was probably one of the smartest kids in my school and got kicked out of class every day. Went to the psychiatrist in the 3rd grade. My 3rd grade teacher, Mr. Tucker, told me that I'd be dead by the time I was 18 years old. Never forget, a white man looked me in my face and told me that. He hated me and I was a nigger and I would be dead before I was 18. That's what's going through. But these are realities we're going on in our schools. Because they don't want to have the energy to redirect your energy. Because they don't care enough about you. So they check you off. This is realities. This is reality check, right? You know? So since not enough of us are in our school, and my 4th grade teacher, Mr. Johnson, was the only black teacher in my school who told me, he pulled me to the side and said, "Boy, what's wrong with you?" And I said, "What you mean?" He said, "What's wrong with you? You're too smart to be acting like a damn fool." And I was like, "I ain't no fool." He's like, "You are a fool. And you reflected me. And every time you act like a fool, it makes me look like a fool. Now you gonna get your act together." And every time I see Mr. Johnson, I got my act together. Because he cared. He took the time to talk to me. He said, "What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Talk to me." And you know, my mother and father was on drugs, so I was acting out. No, I didn't. They was fighting every day. There was police in my house every day. Nobody knew the trauma I was dealing with. But he was the first person that took the time to try to figure out that trauma. He was the first person who invested the time in me to try to understand what I was going through. And I realized that that worked. And I realized throughout my life, everyone who did that was somebody that I gravitated to. Unfortunately, the second person who did it was the drug dealer, who identified what it was I was going through and sat me down. And then when I was like, "How do you get these clothes?" And he's like, "Young blood, you don't want to get this, but let me tell you how to do it." He tried to talk, but I don't want you to do it, but this is how you do it. And that's what I gravitated to. And then when I realized, and I sat in that cell and I realized that it's a cycle. They've been miseducated, and they keep miseducating us. We're not bad people. We don't want to do negative things. But if negativity is the only thing that you see that brings forth some level of positivity, then that's what you're going to gravitate to. We got to show these kids something different. We got to show them a different level of success. We can't just keep leaving the hood. You know, everybody want to get out the hood. Nah, come back to the hood, rebuild the hood. Come to the hood, stay there, let these kids see you successful. Bring your friend, make it uplift your own community. That's why they're able to gentrify our communities, because the successful people move out. See, when the successful people move out, then all of the value drops. So if you're successful when you stay in your community and you start to build it up, one apartment by telling your friend to move here, and then y'all move here. Now y'all start to uplift the community changes. You out there having a building with these kids, you doing the things for the community that nobody else, because they're not gonna save us. Like they said, the system is working exactly how it was meant to work. The system was meant for us to overpopulate jails so that they can make monies off of our bodies. Slavery is slavery by another name. Prison is the #1 industry, and we are the #1 people that are populating that industry. It went from us picking cotton to us making free products inside of prisons. My friend works in a prison, and he works for AT&T, and he answers phones. And he makes 10 cents an hour. When he comes home, they will not hire him at AT&T. He's been doing that for the last 5 years. He will not get a job at AT&T. This is how the system works. It's just like marijuana. I got 100 people who did 10 to 15 years for selling marijuana, but now that they legalized it, those same people are not eligible to capitalize off of marijuana. This is how the system works. So if we are not giving these kids an opportunity, then they are doomed to fail. They are doomed to fail. We have to change our mindset. Like he said, we've been individualized. We've been tribalized. We've been thought, well, I got mines, and I'm okay with getting mines. No. Why do you want to be successful without the people that you struggle with? Why are you okay being successful with having $1 over lunch meat while everybody else that you struggle with is starving? Why are you okay with getting education and knowledge and not bringing it back to somebody else to give them the same opportunity? How did we get here? How did we get to a place where we are comfortable watching our brothers die? We've normalized that. How did we so numb that we can watch our kids just continue to go to jail and die, and we just read it and look at them and just shake our head? Like, why are we not doing it? Why are we not proactive in stopping that from happening? Like, these are questions that I want you to, when you leave here, don't just say we had a good conference. I want you to check yourself. I want you to say, what am I doing that is going to ensure that the future is better? What is it that I directly am doing? Not what I'm saying. Because, you know, it said when men talk. No, when men talk, they should be saying something that really matters. And should be followed by them doing something that really matters. So I want you to say to yourself, what is it that me, am doing to ensure that these kids who have less than me have an opportunity at success? Am I just walking around saying, yeah, you know, I'm a teacher, and the most marginalized, the hardest. See, you do a real job when you find the kids that come to your class that are not interested, and you figure out a way to engage them. That's when you did a job. You don't preach to the choir. You can't save somebody that ain't drowning. So when you go to school and you're a teacher and you sit down and you see the kid that's all over the place, and you don't take pride and say to yourself, by the end of this year, I'm going to make sure he learns something. I'm going to make sure that he is a lot better than he was when he walked into this room. If that's not your objective, then you should not be an educator. If your objective is not to, when these kids graduate and they sit on that stage and they say, I want to thank Mr. Johnson, I want to thank Mr. Edwards, Mrs. Carmen, for what she did for me. You know, it was hard for me, but she stood on me. And she, you know, I don't think I would have made it without her. If that's not your objective, then you're in the wrong profession. If you have children, and you are not pouring into these children and making sure not only are your children successful, but the people, the friends that they are around are successful, then you are failing as a parent. Like these are the conversations I want to have. I don't want to do the kumbaya, because everything ain't all right. It's not, everything is not all right. We losing these kids. And everybody's comfortable. I go to these conferences all the time. And everybody leaves and they smile and talk about how wonderful, but nobody does nothing after.
Right.
Nobody invests their money, their time, their energy. This man needs funding. Like, we should really like take up a collection, and people should be paying this man for the work he does. It's no way that this should be no volunteer. Nobody asks nobody to volunteer. You don't ask the maintenance man to come to your house and volunteer. You don't go to the store and get free clothes. This is a service that's going to ensure that our future is brighter. Why is he not compensated as such? Why don't we see the value in that? Why do we just think it's okay to keep devaluing the people who are saving our children and saving our communities? Why is it not more? Why hasn't it been 5 or 6 of those that spawned after it? You know why? Because we have not put the value into this program to make somebody else say, oh, you know what? Oh, look, they got a good program. They're doing something good, and they're being paid for it. Wow. Like, how did we get here? This is what I just want to know, how did we get here? How did we get from being a people that was unified and had our own things and build our own up to not caring if we live or die? I appreciate all of our allies, our different European, Asian, every other nationality, but I'm talking black people. How did we get to a place where we comfortable with watching our own die? Not supporting our own, not being brothers and sisters, not unifying. Because everybody else is unified. Everybody else is assuring that their people are successful. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong when you make sure that somebody that looks like you from where you from is successful. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody else is doing what they're supposed to do. Why aren't we? Like, I'm just disappointed in what we're doing to these kids. I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed because we're not pouring into these kids. We're not telling them that they're great. We're not showing them that they're great. We're not giving them, we're not normalizing greatness. We've normalized mediocrity. We've normalized that. We tell them, okay, we just want you to get a diploma. We don't care how you get it. No, I want you to get 90s. I want you to be brilliant. I want you not to accept failure. I want you to be better than me. Everything you do, I want you to excel. I was at a conference the other day, and the brother said, he said the realest thing. He said his father told him, you know what, Dre, I have one requirement from you. He said, what is that, Dad? He said, this thing called life, you know, it's a marathon. It's a long run. I want you to finish the race. He said, well, I can do that. He said, that's easy. Finishing is nothing. He said, no. I want you to finish first. With all of the adversities, all of the setbacks you have, all of everything you've been through, I want you to finish first. And he said, when he thought about that, it inspired him so much throughout his life. He had an aspiration. Every day he was trying to finish first. That's what we should be instilling in these kids. Not just to get by, okay, just do it. No. You are great. You are a king and a queen, and you should conduct yourself as such. Every time you walk out your home, you are a reflection of me. Conduct yourself as a king and a queen. Do you hear me? Say, I'm a king. Say, and I'm chasing greatness. Now you ain't saying it like you mean it. You need to say it like you mean it. I'm a king. You ain't even saying it. You don't believe you're a king? So talk like you believe it. Speak up. Say, I'm a king. And I'm chasing greatness. Yell it out. I'm a king. And I'm chasing greatness. That's what I'm talking about. We should be affirming that in these kids every day. Every day. That should be our goal, to ensure that these kids know that. So I done chastised y'all enough today. I'm going to end this. And it's fitting that I ended with this. It's called, I don't have the right to do nothing. Everybody say, I don't have the right to do nothing. I sat and talked with a legend and I eagerly listened. He told me how he marched with Dr. King because he believed in his mission. He invested his money and his time to change our people's conditions, and all I could think as I heard this man speak with conviction is, I don't have the right to do nothing. But you see, Harry Belafonte sacrificed for people like me. So if he decided to do nothing, then where would I be? You see, if he was just content with his celebrity status, there wouldn't be a Justice League or Black Lives Matter. So I don't have the right to do nothing. Because we stand on the shoulders of our elders. We got to continue their fight against the system that failed us. Mr. B tells us, he drills in our mind, we got to carry this torch. You see, this is our time. Injustice is a crime, but it's about execution. And those directly impacted must be the solution. So I don't have the right to do nothing, because revolution is a part of evolution. And our forefathers weren't given no restitution. They were given destitution and treatment that's inhumane. So if we ain't part of the solution, how the hell we gonna complain? So I don't have the right to do nothing. I'm on a mission. I'm screaming until they listen. Dr. King died for freedom. I'm carrying on tradition. My people want justice. I'm carrying that petition. Police is out here killing us. We're going to need some more convictions. Peaceful and passive same thing. Know the difference. You are not supposed to lay down and die with no resistance, so I don't have the right to do nothing. I don't have the right not to fight for my life. It's a gift from God. So with all of my might, I will protect my freedom, my family, my home. I know y'all gonna fight with me. Y'all ain't gonna leave me alone. So when my feet get weary and I can no longer sprint, I just think about the babies that's dying in Flint. And then I say, I don't have the right to do nothing. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. So we have some questions? Okay, Ms. Stacy.
Oh, you
I got it. Every day I want you to look in the mirror and say I'm a king and I'm chasing greatness.